What in the world is that? That looks actually delicious to me. This is insane. Do you know anything about this? Oh my gosh. That's the amount of vowels. That sounds insane. What is up? Welcome back. Today I'm reacting to a video titled Why Danish Sounds Funny to Scandinavians. I've been learning all about Denmark and the Scandinavian countries and how the language is a little bit different. I did another video about this recently, so check that one out after this video. But I am absolutely obsessed with these countries. I'm an American discovering Europe for the very first time. My name is Aaron, and that's what this channel is all about. So I'm discovering the history, the people, the culture, the language, the sports, and the music, of course. So if you have any video recommendations, if you want to join me on this journey, make sure you hit like and subscribe. But now let's see why Danish sounds funny to other Scandinavians. Let's go.
Odd. Like a throat condition. Like
Oh,
Danes
gosh.
are holding back a cough. Or maybe they got a potato stuck in their throats.
A potato.
Apparently. At least that's what everyone's telling me.
Potato in the
But
throat.
why? Why does Danish sound so funny to people?
Can you relate to this? If you're Danish and you're watching this, are you like, ugh, not again. I'm hearing this again.
I recently explored how Swedes, Norwegians, and Danes can all communicate without having to switch languages.
Okay. That's actually so cool.
This wasn't fair and even. Some languages were more intelligible than others.
Okay, does he mean that like Norwegian and Swedish understand the Danish language less than a Danish person would understand the other ones? Or does he mean something else here? What do you think?
The internet eagerly pointed its finger at one language in particular. Danish did it. I post a video and I'm told that
Danish did it.
Danish is a throat condition. I log into social media and I read about the potato in their throat. I go visit a discussion board and it's a strangled goose. A
Strangled
study
goose.
tells me Swedish kids hear Danish as uglier and stranger than Danes do Swedish.
Oh, wow.
Sure, some of this is banter and good-natured teasing, but even taking it all with a grain of salty herring, I still have to ask, what makes Danish sound so funny? Maybe I could just add my own theory. I'll blame it on too much Danish butter in their kringler.
Kringler. What in the world is that? That looks actually delicious to me. Is that a nut or is that fruit inside there? That looks amazing.
But no, this is native lang, so you already know what we're about to do. Sift through the history of Danish to uncover what specifically about its pronunciation makes it stand out.
Let's go.
Now, Danish is notoriously hard to learn to pronounce. You'll hear me try, but somebody please back me up.
I'm going to try too. I'm going to try. Let's go.
Grød med fløde.
Grød med fugl. Grød med fugl. What do you think?
Okay. Travel back in time. Once upon 1,300 years ago, Denmark was speaking an Indo-European Germanic language with
Wow,
a unique
okay.
northern flavor, which we call Old Norse. To them, it's the Donsk tunga, the Dane tongue. Throughout
Wow.
Scandinavia, this is a time of unity.
Really? Okay. So everyone spoke
Everywhere
this.
you go, Norse sounds like Norse. But soon these Dane-tongers grow restless and get upgraded to Viking status. In the Viking Age, something will change. It starts in Denmark. A Dane, probably many Danes, but definitely this one, decides, I'm going to start saying my vowels differently, which leads East Norse to split away from West Norse.
Whoa. Hold on.
It's the
So Swedish and Danish versus Norwegian, Faroese, and Icelandic. Okay, interesting.
start of a trend, the perfect setup for the rest of our story. Hey everybody, there was another sound change in Denmark. And at this point, over 1,000 years ago, we can officially call it Danmark, the Dane March. See,
The Dane March. Okay.
this runestone says so. The Vikings settle down, the Middle Ages settle in. At this point, Scandinavia is a continuum of dialects that smoothly trace their origins to East and West Norse.
Wow, okay.
Oh, and the too often forgotten Old Gutnish on its own island, where vowels sometimes didn't agree with either Norse, West or East.
Gutnish. This is insane. Do you know anything about this? If you're from Scandinavia, do you know anything about this history? This has to be so cool for you also to discover.
Officially, though, this is an era of Latin, not too much written Norse, until Denmark decides to go medieval and ink the Scanian law. Thanks to scribal copying, this law was available in multiple versions, including this awesome one in runes. Its words show off another Danish change. Unstressed vowels are getting weaker. This is how your nicely distinguished endings in Swedish and Norwegian will all end up in Danish with Meanwhile, the
Insane. This is like honestly poetic, the way he's talking about this.
Hanseatic League is uniting to dominate the continent's northern coast,
Okay.
which brings a war and many new words from Middle Low German, or
Oh, interesting. So, okay, is he about to say that Danish has a lot of German words? Because that would be something that maybe I should expect, but I don't know much about.
Middle Nether Dutch.
Middle Nether
Also,
Dutch.
meanwhile, another change is happening in Denmark. Consonants becoming softer, like how t softened to the in matr to mad. This is lenition. It's a normal change, just ask
Lenition, okay.
Spanish, but weirdly, Danes do it at the end of syllables. Consonants and unstressed vowels are weakening, but stressed vowels are multiplying. By count, Danish will end up with more distinct vowels than maybe any.
Oh my gosh. That's the amount of vowels. I think we have, what, 5 in English, and 1 is like sometimes the Y is sometimes used as a vowel. That's insane. That's like 20.
Other language. Now this is a Danish that's getting different. We're onto something. But on the sounds funny scale, so far I'd rate it a chuckle. So far.
Oh no. So he's saying it's going to get worse. By the way, do we know why there's a bear hide or skin on top of this guy? Is there some sort of like representation of somebody doing this? Or is that just some kind of Viking, I guess, imitation?
Far. It's 1526. A Swede writes that Danes sound like they want to cough, turning words in their throats, writhing and ringing. What is this throatiness? We won't know for another 2 centuries before a Danish grammarian writes in the Concordia res parvae crescunt. Hey, at least my
That was Latin.
Latin works. Also, bold title. Well, this book describes how Danes pronounce many syllables with a very little hiccup. A little hiccup with a bold name, a punch, shock, or blast, is a stød. This punch to
Stød.
the throat isn't one sound. It sums up an entire
Oh my gosh. That's just for one word? Oh no.
process.
Okay, I got a question. I'm thinking about something now. How long would it take a native English speaker to become fluent in Danish? That's the question. Do you know anybody, by the way, that's actually taking Danish? If you're in Denmark, do you know any, I guess, foreign people who are trying to learn the language? I can imagine it's insanely hard.
A complicated process with multiple phases and a bunch of anatomy happening in your throat. It's not on every syllable either. These don't have it.
Tørre, gøre,
These ones do.
sår, dør.
It's been called creaky, cough-like, and let's not forget, a constant stream of tiny hiccups. And it is crucial if you ever want to master that genuine Danish accent. At the very moment this author's writing about.
Okay, real quick, I got a question. I just thought about something because he showed Nijhaven in Copenhagen. How many accents, I guess accents or dialects, are there in Danish? Is there a lot of different ones between the, different regions, or is it all kind of the same?
About hiccups, there's another sound change in Denmark. This time for once though, it's not Danish's fault. Danish preserved a trilled Norse rrr. But now, throughout France and Germany, a new R is spreading. A dramatic change worth its own story, the so-called guttural r. Instead of a front of the tongue trill r, it's a back of the mouth r. Denmark caught a bad case of this bug, whose symptoms
A bad case of this bug.
include turning words like rødgrød into this.
Rød grød.
That sounds insane. And look how it's written. Oh my gosh.
The result isn't even throatier Danish. We're almost there. Almost. Because they have all the right sounds in Copenhagen. But Scandinavia is still a rich tapestry of dialects. Sweden will keep its many variants, including a Swedified form of Gutnish. In Norway, there's still no single spoken Norwegian.
Oh gosh.
But back in Denmark, the old dialects, some of which never even had that stød, will witness one last change. Traditional dialects will mostly vanish. We end up with nearly all of Denmark speaking one language, a language.
Really? Okay, that's fascinating, because I think from my understanding, a lot of Europe has many dialects.
With the simplest grammatical endings in Scandinavia, weakened consonants, perhaps the largest number of vowels in the world, and little hiccups and rs. And that is how the Danes went from speaking Norse just as well as anybody to sounding amazingly odd. Or oddly amazing.
Wow. Or oddly
Stick around
amazing.
and subscribe for language.
That's great. That's an amazing video. I feel like I learned so much about the Danish language. It is insanely hard to say. After just trying a few words there, I'm a little scared to keep trying, to be honest. How long would it take me to learn this amazingly guttural and tough language? Let's say it that way. If you are Danish, do you understand Norwegians and Swedish people very easy? If you're Swedish and Norwegian, do you understand the Danes at all? That would be my question. Also, I'm thinking right now, if there's a mix, maybe a little bit from German words, how much do the Germans understand, or how much do you understand of German? Not because you took it in school, but simply because of your Danish language. These are all the questions that I would have, and I guess they're good ones to be answered. So if you could help me out, that'd be amazing. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see another one just like this, make sure you hit like and subscribe. As always, my channel members, thank you so much for joining me on this journey and supporting me through this amazing discovery of Europe. My channel members always get early access to every single video that I post on this platform. So if you want to join the channel, make sure you check that out down below. You're going to keep getting that early access and even exclusive videos. Well, I hope to see all of you in the very next video. I hope you have an amazing evening, morning, midday, or lunch, wherever you are. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.